We don't respect the elderly in this country. We don't care about them. All too often, we don't care for them. Certainly, in Britain, it's no fun getting old. Research by Age UK found that nearly 1 million people aged over 65 do not have anyone to celebrate Christmas with this year. It's supposed to be a time for celebration, for family, for unity, for generosity and for good cheer. But this year, around 675,000 pensioners say they're feeling fed up about being alone, with as many as 970,540 saying they would not have anyone to share Christmas with. The research found some 625,000 said they were feeling depressed, around 400,000 felt forgotten, and around 250,000 spoke of being anxious. It's deadly stuff, this, isn't it? One elderly person, get this, a 94-year-old lady called Connie, lives alone, and she said that she felt scared that her voice was not working properly because she spoke to so few people during lockdown. We all remember, don't we, national treasure Captain Sir Tom Moore, who managed to raise nearly £40 million for the NHS by walking up and down his garden. One thing that really stands out to me about all of this is that he says that he felt invisible following the death of his wife in 2006. Apparently, he tried to get a job at the age of 86 and people just laughed at him. So I wanted to bring attention to something that I think is long overdue. A dedicated fundraising and awareness day for our senior citizens. The Captain Tom Foundation is working alongside Dame Esther Ranson on its latest venture, Captain Tom Day, to help make sure the older generation feels seen, heard and, most importantly, valued by our society. The details are still being finalised, but the idea is almost like a kind of Children in Need Day for old people. I think this is absolutely fantastic. There are 12.4 million people aged 65 and over in the UK. There are 3.2 million aged over 80 and 1.6 million aged over 85. That's a huge number of people. That, if we ignore them, if we don't respect them, and if we look through them rather than directly at them, is actually bad for Britain. I'll never be able to understand why there is such little respect for the elderly. By definition, if it wasn't for them, then we wouldn't be here. Many elderly people, like Captain Sir Tom Moore, fought during the war. They literally saved Britain, and then they helped rebuild it. Many elderly people had very humble beginnings and were forced to mend and make do a lot. They crippled themselves so that future generations could leapfrog up in society. The accumulated wisdom that comes with the elderly is a tremendous resource for us. Their experiences and their knowledge have real value. The advice they can offer, they've seen it all come and go, and far from ignoring them, we should be actively picking their brains and trying to learn from them. Many elderly people voted for Brexit, and then many Remainers sought to make the kind of half joke that they'll be dead soon, so by the time we have another referendum, it won't really matter. How massively disrespectful is that? Old people shouldn't vote because they won't be around to see the consequences of their decisions. I think it should be the other way around. We should be trusting them to make the decisions. I worry that with the breakdown of the nuclear family in Britain, it can leave a lot of old people isolated. But I wonder, too, if it is removing the traditional sense of family unity and the sense of duty that younger generations have towards the old. The online world has left many people marginalised and frozen out in the senior citizen community. Many struggle with online banking or ringing up their gas and electricity firm just to be told by some robot voice that they have to go and do it on their laptop. Virtual GP appointments, old people often struggle with those to the point they may actually be too afraid or maybe even embarrassed to actually do them. I welcome this move by the wonderful Captain Sir Tom Moore Foundation and, of course, Esther Ranson, who set up the Silver Line charity to have a dedicated day for our elderly. But it shouldn't just be one day. It should be every day. It's time that we did more to look after a generation of people who have looked after us.